Iron Man once said that everything special about Captain America came from a bottle. Sadly, many sports enthusiasts around the world are making the same claims about players on the fields. According to the World Anti-Doping Agency, as high as 10% of professional athletes have admitted to using performance-enhancing drugs, or PEDs. PEDs were first introduced in the 1960s, and although they were rarely used, now we can see that almost 3 million athletes around the world have admitted to using performance-enhancing drugs in order to set records. This has created a culture of unfair sportsmanship and dangerous health effects for the players. Athletes, coaches, and fans all deserve better, and pro athletes should be tested. Professional athletes should be drug tested in order to maintain fairness and health standards for players. First, we can see they need to be tested in order to maintain fairness. In a recent study done by the New England Journal of Medicine, they tested two groups of men. The first group were all natural men, and the second group were using steroids. The first group gained about, on average, 4 pounds of muscle in the same amount of time that the men on steroids gained 13 pounds of muscle. This is a drastic difference, and it shows the level of progression that you can use by using steroids. This is an unfair advantage. We also see professional athletes that have used drugs in order to enhance their performance. Such athletes include Michael Phelps in swimming, Lance Armstrong in cycling, Mark McGwire and Barry Bonds in baseball, and one of the most famous is Tyson Gray in track and field. Tyson Gray set the second place world record for the 100-meter sprint with a time of 9.69 seconds. This record was eventually revoked, however, after it was found out that he had been using performance-enhancing drugs to set this and gave him an unfair advantage. Not only do athletes need to be drug tested in order to maintain fairness, but also for the health standards of the athletes. According to steroids.info.org, athletes who use steroids or performance-enhancing drugs are at a much higher risk for heart disease. These include heart attacks, high blood pressure, and various other cardiovascular disease that stem from the use of performance-enhancing drugs. Not only does they cause many heart issues, but they also places athletes at a higher risk for organ illnesses. This includes lung problems, liver damage, and kidney failure. It only makes sense that we test professional athletes for drugs in order to maintain fairness and health standards for the athletes. Imagine a sports world where every athlete was given an equal and healthy opportunity to succeed. By testing pro athletes for drugs, it will encourage players to play fair and to consider their own health. This change will be positive for the athletes, and it will be positive influence for all the young athletes around the world aspiring. It's time that we step up to the plate and start testing pro athletes for drugs.